Eamon Godsey, Jordan Welch, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. All these ultra-rich people claim that they simply dropped out of school and started putting in the work in order to achieve the life and the riches of their dreams. Eamon Godsey has been the face of endless controversy because of his controversial advice to read, meditate, and believe it or not, get a good tailor in order to make millions of dollars. Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg both have incredible stories of success, as we know it in today's capitalist society, and Bezos probably owns all of us secretly. This automatically brings questions to my mind. What caused people to think and ultimately act out of so much self-interest to make millions and billions? The answers to these questions stem back all the way to the time of John D. Rockefeller. In 1839, the business magnate, as Google so nicely puts it, was born into a family of moderate income. He had 5 other siblings, leading to no lack of competition between them, I am sure. He began his business career by taking a business class in high school. Soon, with money he loaned from his father and what he'd managed to save up himself, he invested, learned, built, and grew his various businesses throughout the rest of his life, including his monopoly to be the Standard Oil Company. People praise Rockefeller, and so-called finance gurus on the internet sometimes hold him up on a pedestal that he might not deserve, and here's why. During the progressive era of the early 20th century, the journalists investigating the worst parts of American society, sometimes called the muckrakers, published many articles depicting and exposing the truth behind Rockefeller's dirty wealth. He actually used bribery, intimidation, and bullied away his competitors so that his company would come out on top. He disrespected the human rights of the thousands of factory workers working for him in unhealthy factories, going so far as banning his workers from joining labor unions and locking them inside factories. He was not alone in thinking this way, and in his time, his business-minded ways were influential to other businessmen of the era. In 1919, the famous and tragic Triangle Shirtwaist Fire broke out and killed more than 100 women, many of whom burned to death behind locked factory doors or died trying to jump out of the burning fire. This was a turning point for the American public, which began to think more in favor of the masses and of human rights instead of the few who make huge financial gains by taking advantage of those desperate masses. Like all great things, Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company had to come to an end as well. In 1911, the Supreme Court ruled that the company violated the Sherman Antitrust Act and had become a monopoly. The government then broke up the large company, obviously not making Rockefeller happy. He continued his life living off the billions of dollars he made from Standard Oil, and he lives on in famous quotes and business advice today. Unfortunately, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok influencers today sometimes hold Rockefeller up on a pedestal that is higher than he deserves. Recently, young successful people have claimed that the education system is flawed and that we are living in the matrix based on Rockefeller's beliefs. These people are using the reach of social media to tell people that they shouldn't be getting educated, where there's obvious evidence that getting higher education leads to success. Yes, there are a few examples such as Bezos and Zuckerberg where super successful people didn't go to school. But why is that? The answer is that less education is often correlated to higher cultural awareness, meaning that perhaps even though Jeff Bezos made billions of dollars, his view of the world is one that may not be the same as the view that someone who went to college would have. This is dangerous because it can lead to a person with that much power and influence to act in ways that can hurt hundreds of thousands, if not millions, billions of people without having the standard and empathetic view of the world that higher schooling will push people towards. But what if these claims have a basis in fact? What if the education system really is flawed? The issue is actually very complicated because of how powerful a tool education is. Education literally shapes the future. It corresponds to poverty levels and is a major industry in the United States and many other countries, and therefore has many great aspects, but also countless flaws. The reason why so many young, successful people warn against higher education is because they see it solely as a system that manufactures workers who will spend their entire working life in a 9-to-5 position, with little freedom. Elon Musk once said, "It is easier to land a man on Mars than to change the school system." Musk's reasoning is that ultra-rich businesses and people such as Rockefeller in the 20th century invested millions of dollars into building and shaping the school system so that it creates a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. And even after 100 years, the school system is very similar to what it was. The question is, though, is it actually the school system at fault, or could it be the economic system of capitalism, or some other reason? So many people who are stuck in 9-to-5s are unhappy and living paycheck to paycheck. But you also see a lot of people working meaningful jobs that fall into the 9-to-5 category, but make the workers happy and fulfilled. Me personally, as a member of Gen Z, I do not want a 9 to 5. I want freedom. This is the mindset of my generation. We want fulfillment and prosperity, which means that a 9 to 5 is out of the question. And it means that for some, a college education isn't the right path either. The voices of the people begging you not to go to school are actually highly influential. The bottom line is that Gen Z is, in record-breaking numbers, seeking less higher education. This could change the shape that our entire economy has taken since Rockefeller's time in the 1900s. But you might be asking yourself, now, is Gen Z actually doomed? What's so bad about escaping a system that programs you to be a worker? There's nothing wrong with trying to escape the rat race of a 9 to 5, but many Gen Zers see the education system at fault, and that is largely due to these super influencers telling us that. A change needs to be made, and Gen Z is calling for it by not going to school. If our generation will be doomed because of this lack of education is yet to see. But with many of these young people finding their purpose and learning as much as a college degree could teach them, from online resources such as classes, videos, and articles, all from their phone or laptop, there's still hope for the young people of today. Maybe we'll even be better off than the millennials and walk away at 25 years old, self-educated, and without crippling student debt. In conclusion, Gen Z is on a path that no other generation of humans has been on before, and with so many advances in technology, we may see results that are unprecedented in history. For more videos like this, please subscribe.